Hi, guys, and welcome back. So, let's talk about, does honey ever go bad and what you should know? Let's go. Honey is one of the oldest sweeteners consumed by humans, with recorded use as far back as 5500 BC. It's also rumored to have special long lasting properties. Many people have heard of jars of honey being unearthed in ancient Egyptian tombs, still as good to eat as the day they were sealed. These stories have led many people to believe that honey simply doesn't go bad ever. But is that really true? This video investigates why honey can last so long and what can cause it to go bad. What is honey? Honey is a sweet natural substance produced by bees from the nectar or secretions of plants. The bees suck flower nectar, mix it with saliva and enzymes, and store it in a honey sac. Then they leave it in the hive to ripen and be used as food. Because of the composition of honey depends on the species of the bees as well as the plants and flowers they use, it can vary significantly in flavor and color, from clear and colorless to dark amber. Honey is made up of approximately 80% sugar and no more than 18% water. The exact amount is determined by the bee species, plants, weather, and humidity, as well as processing. It also contains organic acids, such as gluconic acid, which is responsible for its characteristic acidic taste. Additionally, the pollen found in the unfiltered honey contains very small amounts of protein, enzymes, amino acids, and vitamins. Nutritionally, the only significant nutrient in honey is sugar, with 17.2 grams and 65 calories per tablespoon, which is 21 grams. There are also traces of minerals such as potassium, particularly in darker varieties, though the amounts are too small to be nutritionally relevant. Why honey can last a very long time. Honey has a few special properties that help it last a long time, including a high sugar and low moisture content, an acidic in nature, and antimicrobial enzymes produced by bees. It is very high in sugar and low in moisture. Honey is made up of 80% sugar, which can inhibit the growth of many types of microbes, such as bacteria and fungi. A high sugar content means that the osmotic pressure in honey is very high. This causes water to flow out of the cells of microbes, stopping their growth and reproduction. In addition, despite containing around 17 to 18% water, the activity of water in honey is very low. This means that the sugar interact with the water molecules so they cannot be used by microorganisms and no fermentation or breakdown of honey can occur. It is acidic. The pH of honey ranges from 3.4 to 6.1, with an average pH of 3.9, which is quite acidic. The primary reason for this is the presence of gluconic acid, which is produced during nectar ripening. Originally, it was thought that the acidic environment of honey was responsible for preventing microbial growth. However, studies comparing varieties with lower and higher pH values did not find a significant difference in antimicrobial activity. Originally, it was thought that the acidic environment of honey was responsible for preventing microbial growth. However, studies comparing varieties with lower and higher pH values did not find a significant difference in microbial activity. In fact, honey is so effective in killing certain types of bacteria that it's even used on burn wounds and ulcers to prevent and treat infections. Bees have special enzymes that suppress bacterial growth. During honey production, bees secrete an enzyme called glucose oxidase into the nectar to help preserve the honey. As the honey ripens, glucose oxidase converts sugar into a gluconic acid and also produces a compound called hydrogen peroxide. This hydrogen peroxide is thought to contribute to the antibacterial properties of honey and help prevent the growth of microorganisms. In addition, honey has been found to contain a variety of other compounds such as polyphenols, flavonoids, methylglycoxyl, B peptides, and other antibacterial agents, which may also add to its antimicrobial qualities. When can honey go bad? Despite honey's antimicrobial properties, it can go off or cause sickness under certain circumstances. These include contamination, adulteration, incorrect storage, and degradation over time. It may be contaminated. The microbes naturally present in honey include bacteria, yeast, and molds. This can come from pollen and the bee's digestive tract, dust, air, dirt, and flowers. Due to honey's antimicrobial properties, these organisms are usually found in very small numbers and are unable to multiply, which means they should not be a health concern. However, spores of the neurotoxin C. botulinum are found in 5 to 15% of honey samples in very small amounts. This is generally harmless for adults, but babies under the age of 1 can in rare cases develop infant botulism, which can cause damage to the nervous system, paralysis, and respiratory failure. Therefore, honey is not suitable for this young age group. Additionally, a large number of microorganisms in honey could indicate secondary contamination during processing from humans, equipment, containers, wind, dust, insects, animals, and water. It can contain toxic compounds. When bees collect nectar from certain types of flowers, plant toxins can be transferred into the honey. A well-known example of this is mad honey caused by granotoxins in nectar from Rhododendron ponticum and Azalea pontica, which produced from these plants can cause dizziness, nausea, and problems with heart rhythm or blood pressure. It may be adulterated. Honey is an expensive, time-consuming food to produce. As such, it has been the target of adulteration for many years. Adulteration refers to adding cheap sweeteners to increase volume and reduce cost. Additionally, to speed up processing, honey may be harvested before it's ripe, resulting in a higher and unsafe water content. Normally, bees store honey in the hive and dehydrate it so that it contains less than 80% of water. If honey is harvested too early, the water content can be over 25%. This results in a much higher risk of fermentation and bad taste. It may be stored incorrectly. If honey is stored incorrectly, it can lose some of its antimicrobial properties, become contaminated, or start to degrade. When it's left open or improperly sealed, the water content may start to rise above the safe level of 18%, increasing the risk of fermentation. In addition, open jars or containers can allow honey to become contaminated with microbes from the surrounding environment. This could grow if the water content becomes too high. Heating honey at high temperatures can also have negative effects by speeding up the degradation of color and flavor, as well as increasing the HMF content. It can crystallize and degrade over time. Even when stored correctly, it's quite normal for honey to crystallize. That's because it contains more sugars that can be dissolved. It doesn't mean it has gone bad, but the process does cause some changes. Crystallized honey becomes whiter and lighter in color. It also becomes much more opaque instead of clear and may appear grainy. It is safe to eat. However, water is released during the crystallization process, which increases the risk of fermentation. Additionally, honey stored for a long time may become darker and start to lose its aroma and flavor. While this is not a health risk, it may not be as tasty or attractive. How to store and handle honey correctly. To make the most out of your honey's long-lasting properties, it's important to store it correctly. A key factor for storage is moisture control. If too much water gets into your honey, the risk of fermentation increases and it may go bad. Here are some tips on best storage practices. Store in airtight container. Store-bought jars or bottles, glass jars, and stainless steel containers with airtight lids are suitable. Keep in a cool, dry area. Honey should ideally be stored below 50 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 degrees Celsius. However, storing it at cool room temperatures between 50 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit or 10 to 20 degrees Celsius is generally okay. Refrigeration. Honey can be kept in the refrigerator if preferred, but it may be crystallized faster and become denser. Warm if crystallized. If honey crystallizes, you can return it to the liquid form by gently warming and stirring it. However, do not overheat or boil it as that will degrade its color and flavor. Avoid contamination. Avoid contaminating honey with dirty utensils, such as knives or spoons, which could allow bacteria, yeast, and molds to grow. If in doubt, throw it out. If your honey tastes off, is foamy, or you notice a lot of free water, it may be best to throw it out. Remember that different types of honey may look and taste different. For specific storage instructions, refer to the ones printed on the label of your individual product. The bottom line. Honey is a delicious, sweet food that comes in many different flavors and colors depending on where it's produced. Due to its high sugar and low water content, as well as its low pH value and antimicrobial properties, honey may stay fresh for years, decades, or even longer. However, under certain circumstances, it may go bad or lose its appeal. Honey may be contaminated by bacteria, yeasts, fungi, or molds, though they usually will not produce too significant numbers. It may also contain toxic compounds from certain plants or can be adulterated with poor quality sweeteners or processing. Additionally, honey that is stored incorrectly will not last as long. Therefore, it's important to keep it sealed in an airtight container in a cool, dry place. By purchasing honey from reputable suppliers and storing it correctly, it can be enjoyed safely for many years on end. That is it for today. Stay safe and see you on to the next.